Hello and welcome to the Merle and Locke podcast. I'm Merle.
And I'm Locke.
Set sail and low expectations for everything dirt, accompanied by a healthy, albeit shameful, helping to pointless banter, lack of focus, and questionably acquired knowledge.
And more.
And more. You have a topic for us today, Locke. Do you want to take the lead on this?
I was thinking, I feel like it's older style families who say that if you and a significant other want to really get to know each other, really get to know quirks and how well you two can work together is by baking something, whether it be making a cake or just making a meal together. But that was at least something that was instilled in me when I was younger, hearing stuff like that from other families who I spent time with. But until recently meaning the past couple of years, I feel like you could test that same thing and modernize it a little bit too. Make it a project like building a car or building a computer. Because that's more of what I've been into lately is building PCs. Quite the experience has been had where, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Sure, we both get frustrated and I understand where it is we get frustrated. And I see that it allows you the time to talk about your frustrations. Why does it frustrate you that way? And work around it. Try to find a middle ground to what works best for both of you. For me, I will flat out say, I'm not afraid to admit it. If you take something away from me, even if I'm visibly frustrated with it, if you take it away from me and try to take over, it gets under my skin a little bit.
I feel like that's the case in most circumstances, no matter who it is. Yeah.
It absolutely is. We both get that way, I've seen. And I was like, okay, so there's got to be a better way to handle this. I have to be not so grabby and try to take charge of everything. Even though I know that we both have the good intentions, we don't want to see the other person struggle. So we want to help. And the only way we feel we can help is by taking charge. It's not always the best thing.
I remember one project I was doing with a girlfriend I had at the time. We were doing some woodworking. She didn't have very much experience and she wanted to give it a go. We were just building like a simple planter. I drew up the plans. I got everything ready. I cut all the pieces. I tried to prep as much beforehand as I could because I knew she wanted to help. So I was like, okay, well, I have all this stuff laid out. I know exactly how to put it together. I just need you to just drill and screw in, and I'll hold it for you. We'll use like C-clamps or something here and there to hold it together. But if we can't get a C-clamp in the area, then I'll just hold it with my own hands. I knew how she was, right? Whenever I would get hurt or something, doing something, she would make a fuss about it. I mean, it was endearing. I appreciated her concern, but I was like, it's the nature of it. When you're in the shop and you're working, you're going to cut your fingers constantly. You're going to get hurt. It happens. I was holding a piece together for her. I was already getting to the point where usually I'm pretty good at maintaining a sense of patience for someone that's struggling. I knew it was going to take a while. That's why I did so much work beforehand to get so much together. So I was just willing to sit there, hold things, and let her try. Admittedly, she did break a few drill bits, snapped them off inside the wood, which was, that was kind of frustrating because I was like, well, now I got to dig that out. Cool. Anyway, but that's fine. We'll just keep going. And there was one time specifically where I was holding a piece. She had already drilled the hole. The hole was perfect. It was all lined up. All she had to do was drive in the screw. And as I was holding it, instead of guiding the screw in with her fingers or something, she decided to put both hands on the drill and try to just push the screw as she was screwing it in,
Right.
Like a child would. And I was like, oh boy, like I could see it coming, as soon as she tried like balancing the screw there and then putting both hands on the drill, I was like, oh God. She slipped off the screw and drilled right into my hand.
Oof.
And
ow.
And I didn't react, right? Because I knew if I reacted,
good on you.
She would get concerned and then she'd make a fuss about it. And then this process would take even longer. So I didn't even move. So she didn't even think that she hit me with it. she thought she just hit the side of the frame. So she got back on track and she did it the proper way and guided it with her fingers. And then she looked over and there was blood all over my hand, just blood pouring down onto the frame. And she's like, how did that happen? And I was like, don't worry about it. Let's just continue. She's like, did I do that? And I was like, oh, no.
You're like, no, you know what? It just happens sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I just bleed, there's too much in there. I got to just drain it out every now and again.
Completely normal. Anyway, continue. Go ahead, do it. I'm not in pain. You're getting a little flush in the face too, It
was pretty funny, and it really does allow you to get a gauge on how well you work together because you start to pick out, like you said, the little quirks of one another and how to better navigate it so that you guys can work together. It's not so much sacrificing part of yourself to cater towards the other. It's just trying to figure out what are my strong suits. Am I a more patient person? Okay, well, I'll let her take her time and I'll excuse myself from interrupting. If the other person is short fused, give her some guidance. Try to work out with one another exactly how to navigate each other so that you work more fluently. There's all kinds of avenues really in which to accomplish that. Like you said, building a PC, old school way was simply baking or cooking. My way was a little bit of woodworking.
I gotta say, I'm not trying to talk down on people who bake frequently, but I feel like building a PC is a lot more difficult, especially when you got shaky hands. I mean, I guess baking could be a problem for shaky hands because you're trying to get a nice even spread or something, and my shaky hands are just like a Geiger counter going all over the place. Even today, I had to relinquish the screwdriver with the magnetic tip because every time I'd go to try to put the screw in, it would just shake right off. And I'm like, before I lose myself, please take it.
The most nerve-wracking thing, when it comes to me working with somebody else, some sort of skill that needs to be utilized. I hate it when someone is hovering over my shoulder or watching what I'm doing. They may have like the best intentions, giving guidance or advice, whatever it may be. I mean, I had that problem with my dad, right? Where there was a singular way in which to accomplish something, and every deviation that I had made from that singular thing, he would harp on me about it or be like, that's not how I would do it, And I'm like, God damn it, Dad. This is how I would do it. And I'm the one doing it.
This is my project.
And so I make every attempt whenever I'm doing anything with anybody, not even a partner of any kind, but anybody that I'm doing something with, I will never say anything unless they're buggering up to no end, or if they ask for advice, I'm not going to give it.
For the most part, I feel like I'm a sit back and watch to see how you do and then critique where you could have changed some things. But I'm like, if you're fine with that, that's okay. And I sincerely mean that. I'm not trying to be.
It sounds patronizing, doesn't it?
It probably does. It probably does. It's just like, it looks nice, but you could have changed it here. And people are like, then you do it. No, that's not what I meant. I sincerely did not mean it that way.
You can't help it, though. I mean, that's just the way that comes off if you make any corrections whatsoever.
That also goes back to, like, we talked about it before, however you're feeling in that moment, whatever's being said to you might come across opposite of what that person might actually mean.
I find that when it comes to those working together moments or teaching moments, it's often the same thing because that's how you approach it as a parent. You'll give these little tidbits of guidance as your child is trying to accomplish something. Unfortunately, they react a similar way to adults in that sense, where they just become irritated with your harping on them about how to do something properly.
Yeah, so like when a parent ends up saying something to a kid, it sounds like you're harping on them. If your kid were to tell you something, try to correct something that you're doing, how would you feel about it? How do you think you would take it?
I'd say something along the lines of like, step aside, child. This ain't my first rodeo.
You don't know any better.
You know nothing.
I've been on this earth for yada years now.
Quiet yourself.
But then when they walk away, you finally make the changes and you're like, damn
That
it.
was embarrassing. That's essentially what that is. Yeah.
You don't want them to know you were wrong. You do the same thing with your spouses. I can guarantee that. You don't want to admit when they were actually right.
I have had quite a few moments as far as somebody looking over your shoulder, not telling you anything, but looking for any mistakes that you're making. I feel like I go completely dumb as far as my approach goes to a particular problem. If I have somebody else there that I know is going to correct me at the first chance they get, I feel like not all the neurons are firing up there because all I'm doing is focusing on the other person and what they're seeing. So oftentimes, yeah, especially working with a partner, oh gosh, I don't know what it is. So is it advisable to do any kind of projects with your significant other? No. I would say no.
I don't think that's the lesson that I was trying to get across at all.
You heard it here first.
You heard it from Merle and only Merle that it is not a good idea.
If you enjoy the Merle and Locke podcast, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/Merle and Locke or simply follow the link in the description. Thank you.